What's going on, Angelo family? In today's video, we're going to talk about whether or not you should get a full-time MBA or part-time MBA. As you know, my name is Angelo Carlos. I'm a UCLA MBA, the #1 public school in the world, as well as I've generated over $1 million in program management these past 2 years. So really feel like I'm a good kind of person to talk about whether or not you should get a full-time or part-time MBA. Full disclosure, I have gotten a part-time MBA because I wanted to work. I didn't want to stop working. And I just wanted to be able to pay off school as soon as I was going to school. And I didn't want to have to take on more debt or loan for my graduate program. So for those of you who are interested in the whole MBA program, it is a great kind of avenue for you to go towards if you're trying to get promoted in your company, to learn new skills, or even transition to a different career. So both programs are pretty great, both full-time and part-time MBA. A lot of schools like UCLA, UC Berkeley, USC, University of Southern California, all have part-time MBA programs as well as full-time MBA programs. So you can either pick whether or not you really love your job and you want to stay and you're enjoying kind of what you're doing at work and go to do the MBA program part-time, or if you'll make a full career transition switch, you can go full-time. So first I'm going to go over the pros of being a full-time MBA. And here's the pros of being a full-time MBA. So you get an immersive experience. So full-time MBAs allow you to really just deep dive into the academic environment without any distractions per se. And you can really just enjoy what you're doing. You're also blessed with the full immersion where you have the libraries, student clubs, career services, because once again, if you're a full-time student, you're focusing only on school, not at work, and you're not distracted by kind of any of the extracurriculars that you have to deal with when you're at work. You also have access to all the club events because you're not as busy. You're not working 40 hours a week, for some of us 50, 60 hours a week. And you're just able to just kind of enjoy school, not have to work, and just be a part of the whole club experience, career service experience, and focus on that career transition. You get 2 years off, and it's always a good time. Next is the career shift. So if you're looking for a major kind of career change and you want to just really focus on like learning those new skills, practicing for interviews, interning, you can do a big career shift. So most people who are kind of getting into the MBA program, say they're in healthcare and they want to transition to tech. Say they're in tech and they want to transition to investment banking or private equity or venture capital. You can do a full career shift where you're like, okay, I like what I'm doing right now, but I do want to transition. So you do these full career shifts by just basically meeting new people who are in those fields of technology, of investment banking, and then doing internships associated with those fields. So I have a lot of friends who want to get into investment banking. So they intern at Bank of America, they intern at Merrill Lynch, they intern at Goldman Sachs. And then after they did a really good job during those internships during the MBA program, they got full-time offers to come back as an associate into those programs. So it's really good if you want to do a whole career shift where you're like, okay, this job, this role I currently had prior to business school isn't for me. I'm going to do a career shift into investment banking, into private equity. So you can do a full career shift, which is really good and gives you the time to switch over into a different career. Next, we have intensive learning. So you can have a lot of great intensive learning when you're just in an environment of people who are in the MBA program where you can just really focus on those case studies, really focus on learning finance, banking, whatever it may be, product management, just so that you can just really, really focus. It's really hard to do these things when you're working a full-time job, but when you're a full-time MBA student, when you're a full-time student, you can just focus on those things. And that's the great thing about doing a full-time MBA program. Last but not least, we have networking opportunities. So these networking opportunities are pretty good. I've kind of noticed with the full-time MBA classes is that you get a lot of great speakers who come into the class, talk about their experience. So I think we had the president of Mr. Beast's YouTube channel come in and talk. We had VPs of Amazon, and these were all for the full-time MBA classes that I would just join. So they have great guest speakers. For the part-time MBA programs, usually your classes on Saturday or evenings. So most people are a little too busy at that time, so you don't really get the best guest speakers. But when you're a full-time MBA student, you do get really great guest speakers, and you have great networking opportunities because you're more inclined, just you have more time during your day to reach out, network, talk to people, and you're able to just meet new folks who are within that field. So the cons is there is an opportunity cost. Just two kind of big cons is that you do give up a few years of work. So when you go full-time MBA program, you give up 2 years of work. And if you're already making good money, like say $200,000, $300,000 or $100,000, that's a good chunk of money. So if you're making like 200K, that's about $400,000 in opportunity costs. Also the opportunity costs of, potential not getting promoted as quickly as you want to because you're not working on projects. And then also like you're having to sacrifice more time with friends and family because you're not able to hang out with them as much. You're super entrenched in the MBA program. So there is a financial opportunity cost as well as a family opportunity cost. And last but not least, it's intensive commitment. So you need to be prepared to have a lot of work with regards to school. Like a lot of classes are more intense. You're graded more heavily, as well as it's very hard to kind of give your full effort into everything. School kind of becomes your life per se for these next 2 years. So there's an intensive commitment, especially after graduation, or especially during your full-time MBA program. So those are pros and cons for the full-time MBA program. Here are the pros and cons of the part-time MBA program, and I can give you kind of more of a, I guess, experience and story from my perspective, because this was actually the program I was in for the past 3 years at UCLA. And I'll give you like some examples of what I went through. So one pro is a work-life balance pro. Basically, you're able to really have less intensive classes because you're doing part-time classes. I notice there's a better work-life balance because the classes were easier and we weren't graded as hard as the full-time MBA students because, I don't know, I feel like as long as you did your work, you get a solid grade, which is kind of interesting to me. So, but it is kind of rigorous, but there is a better like work-life balance. Your classes aren't as long as the full-time MBA students. And then you don't have to do like all the classes throughout the week. You can just be one Saturday or Tuesday and Thursday evenings, especially at UCLA. So another pro is also immediate application. During business school, you learn a lot through case studies. So I had so many case studies, and case studies are just kind of situations, experiences that happen to companies. And because you have so many case studies, ours were coming from Harvard Business School, from Northwestern, from University of Chicago, from Cal Berkeley, and we had so many case studies, and you could just basically apply what you learned into the job immediately because you're already working. Or you can take your experience from your job currently, and then you can apply it to the case study. You can raise your hand and say, hey, this happened to me at work, this happened to me at Google, at Meta, or wherever I was at the time, and I can just apply that experience to that case study. So that's one great application of having a part-time MBA, is that you can actually apply everything pretty quickly. Next is financial stability. This was pretty big for me because I was able to work full-time as well as go to school. I didn't really have to worry about not having enough money for rent, or not having enough money for tuition fee, or not having enough money for food, because I was working full-time, and that was amazing for me. And for me, coming from kind of like my background where I didn't really have much growing up, I wanted financial stability. So financial stability was huge for me, and I graduated UCLA Anderson with zero debt because I was able to pay off everything immediately. Also, I was able to pay off undergrad, buy my dream car, and kind of be in a good position when I got out of school that, okay, I was able to save up a lot of cash from work, and a lot of my equity would vest from work as well, so that went up in value. And then whatever I made, I just put it towards whatever I had owed, which was like my tuition fee. So that was pretty great for me. A lot of financial stability because I was able to work during business school. So there's some cons as well. Instead of 2 years, you have a 3-year program. So you're basically in the trenches for 3 years, just working. My MBA program, they let you do it for 5 years. So if you're very busy and you take time off, you have 5 years to complete the program. For me, I almost took an extra quarter or semester because I got so busy with work and I wasn't doing too well in school. So I almost took some time off, but I'm very fortunate enough that I'm able to finish at a timely manner. Finished in 3 years, graduated with my friend, so it was all good. 2, you have limited campus engagement. So because you're working, you don't really get to go on campus when it's like fun, in a sense where you're just going to campus like Tuesday, Thursday evenings, and Saturday, and then everyone's basically at home. No one's on campus at UCLA on Saturday, so it's kind of empty and kind of dry. But for me, there were times where I did get to go on campus because I got off work early, and I experienced the full campus experience, but not as much as I'd like to because I was always at work, and it was kind of hard to do everything I wanted to. But overall, you get limited campus engagement, but if you make time, like going to the events, going to the basketball games, going to the NBA stuff, it is still a good time. So just gotta make time from it. And then three, the last con is like there's a prolonged commitment. So because you're doing part-time, you have to worry about school, you have to worry about work, your personal life. There's just so much on your plate. Like having a full-time job is extremely hard while going to school. Having friends, family, keeping up with everyone, it's just a lot on your plate. So you're going to be stretched thin in many places, and sometimes some things you're going to have to give, whether that be school, your friends, your family, or work. So just keep in mind that it's very hard to have everything, and just be honest with people and the people around, like what you're going through if you're doing too much. And that way you have more time for yourself and you can just be upfront with whatever you're doing with your current life. So Jello family, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Thank you so much. I was a UCLA MBA, graduated, worked full time, generated over $1 million while I was at school too. So you can do it. It's just very hard. It's difficult, but believe in yourself, Jello fam. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to book some time with me. Talk about MBA, talk about life, getting a job after college, career, tech, whatever it may be. Book the time below. I do have some courses as well about business, finance, MBA. Take a look at those courses. All the links down below, Jello family. But appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And hope I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, Jello family. Peace.